Situated in the heart of the Swiss Alps, in the valley of the River Inn, Museum Susch is more than just an exhibition space. It is a research facility, a cultural laboratory, and an archive where European heritage has merged with revolutionary ideas. Housed within a meticulously restored ensemble of buildings that once served as a rural monastery, the museum embodies a geological sense of time, lending gravity and depth to every project it undertakes. The museum's site-specific permanent installations blend seamlessly with its carefully curated exhibitions, creating an immersive experience that encourages reflection and engagement. This unique environment creates a sanctuary for the exploration of overlooked or misunderstood contributions to art and culture, as the museum is dedicated to amplifying women's voices, often left out of mainstream narratives, and especially committed to challenging given paradigms and reshaping historical perspectives. The current exhibition Flow exemplifies this mission by celebrating the work of Ilona Keserü, one of Hungary's most prominent abstract artists. Spanning her artistic career, the exhibition highlights the enduring relevance and vitality of abstraction. Flow offers a rare opportunity to explore Keserü's oeuvre in its entirety outside her native Hungary. Ilona Keserü was born in 1933 in Pécs, Hungary, and attended its secondary school of art until the age of 17. During this formative time, she met her first mentor, Ferenc Martyn, a painter who had been influenced by his time in Paris and a pioneer of abstraction. Martyn introduced Keserü to modern art, encouraging her to look beyond the surface of objects and explore their deeper essence. In 1950, Keserü left Pécs to enroll at the Budapest Secondary School of Fine and Applied Arts. She often recalls this period as one of cultural isolation. Without access to publications, reproductions, descriptions, or news, Hungary was cut off from the modern artistic trends that were strongly shaping the western half of Europe. After graduating, Keserü was admitted directly to the University of Fine Arts. Although she originally applied to the Department of Painting, she eventually switched to fresco painting. This decision stemmed from her fatigue with the monotonous browns and dirty tones she had been working with, as she had been fascinated by vibrant colors from a young age. Her graduation piece, Refugees, a large fresco, encapsulated the anguish of displacement and was deeply influenced by her experiences during World War II and the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. In the summer of 1960, she traveled outside Hungary for the first time, making a life-changing visit to Poland. The works of Tadeusz Kantor and Maria Jurema left an extraordinarily profound impression on her. Upon returning home, the young artist created figures on the beach and seagrasses, which reflect her impressions from the trip to Poland. These works are considered iconic images from this period. Ilona Keserü's profound engagement with the tangle motif, which first appeared in her early work Seagrasses, can be regarded as one of the most important metaphors in her oeuvre. Keserü described the tangle as more than just a recurring visual element. For her, it was a metaphor for the artistic process and the universe itself. As she reflected, everything returns, everything repeats itself, but not in the precise and comforting order of a spiral. Instead, it takes the shape of sudden disappearances, appearances, loops, and knots that defy unity. Tangles and flows are the movements inside each of us, the forms in which the universe operates. We witness the motif's transformation across decades of experimentation. Through interlaced golden ribbons, sweeping arcs, and intricate layers of paint, Keserü captures the paradox of disorder and harmony. Her works from this period reflect the unpredictability of creativity and the interwoven currents of existence. Here, the tangle becomes more than a shape. It is a dynamic expression of life's boundless complexity, a visual echo of our shared connection to the chaos and order of the cosmos. From November 1962 the artist spent a year in Rome, where she was exposed to countless cultural influences. During this time, she encountered Achille Perilli, regarded as a pioneer of abstract art, and was introduced to the work of Alberto Burri. Burri's collages on untreated jute made a profound impression on her, and later inspired the canvas reliefs she began producing in 1968. Rome had a catalytic effect on Keserü's artistic evolution. In 1964, she created her first large-scale painting, Silvery Picture, which marked the conclusion of her exploratory phase and the discovery of her own voice. This composition, layered over two earlier paintings, was inspired by the undulating lines of Baroque architecture she observed in Italy. The rhythmic columns of gray, black, and white suggest a dreamlike cityscape, while erratic brushstrokes and abstract forms imbue the work with spontaneity and motion. Keserü's experimentation with surface texture involved adding layers and appliqué forms to create depth and tactile engagement. Her works reflect a growing fascination with the interplay between architecture, nature, and human experience, blending these elements into a unified abstract vision. The undulating lines and layered textures form a visual symphony, celebrating the dynamic rhythm of the universe as seen through her eyes. The heart-shaped tombstone motif highlights a pivotal moment in Keserü's artistic journey. Inspired by the Baroque tombstones in Balatonudvari, it was the year 1967 when she discovered in these forms the essence of her artistic gesture, an undulating line with a distinctive arch at its center. This revelation marked the beginning of a transformative period. In works like Tombstones 2, she transforms the heart-shaped motifs into abstractions, and we are given a bird's-eye view of the outspread heart-shaped tombstones. The Tombstone series became a defining milestone, linking themes of memory and continuity with a sense of universal interconnectedness. Through these works, Keserü translated the intimate shapes of the tombstones into a profound and enduring visual language. Keserü's groundbreaking experiments with textiles and embossing during the late 1960s and 70s are another highlight of this exhibition. In the works Keserü created between 1968 and 1969, influential new techniques and forms emerged. One such influence was the work of Alberto Burri, whose needlework reliefs on untreated jute sparked Keserü's own use of jute canvas. Although this concept was apparent as early as 1966, her first embossed canvases date back to 1968. One of the key works from this period, Form, exemplifies her distinctive technique of raising and sculpting the canvas surface. This approach created dynamic, tactile compositions that redefined the medium and remains one of her most celebrated contributions to art history. Keserü was among the first artists of her generation to embrace needlework, not as an applied decorative technique, but as a means of artistic creation. Works like First Stitched and Old Clothes, composed of fluttering fragments of textile, reflect her relaxed, playful, yet deeply thoughtful approach to art making. Folk object culture and folk art also served as enduring sources of inspiration for Keserü. In her artistic universe, these influences often materialized as geometric compositions. Among them, the atypical 1969 work, Threaded, stands out. In this piece, the grid of repeated geometric shapes, formed by alternating black and white on the stitched surface, merges with the raw sensuality of untreated Hessian, creating a striking fusion of traditional motifs and modern abstraction. Color has been central to Ilona Keserü's work from the beginning. In the late 1960s, her focus on color deepened into what she called color research. This new period of exploration, centered on color choice, shifted her focus toward an immersion in colors as the primary matter of painting. Her first large-scale spatial work, Color Space, debuted at the Budapest Museum of Applied Arts during the happening on New Year's Eve. This monumental piece featured a nearly 20-meter-long fabric in pink and rainbow hues, stretched on a circular frame. Reflecting on her early experiments, Keserü described discovering a human color, a pale ochre that harmonized clashing tones, offering both simplicity and mystery. In a description for Color Space, Keserü wrote, "In 1972, I experimented in one of my paintings with featuring all the colors I could mix from the 3 primary oil pigments, green, blue, purple, crimson, orange, and yellow, gradually building on one another. Each color approached the next through certain shades and variant fields. This generated clashes that were undesirable in the picture. What could provide a neutral surface between any 2 colors? Black, white, gray? It turned out that there was another color that could achieve this balance between 2 clashing fields, a pale, ochre-pink shade, the color of white skin, to which our eyes are so accustomed that we scarcely notice it." However, in 1978, she took a bold step, removing this mediator entirely in works like Cylinder Robe, where this time, the artist omitted the human skin tones used in Color Space. Cylinder Robe was designed as a performance garment and became the focal point of a live performance at an exhibition in Wheats Hall, Dunaújváros, in 1982. Keserü elaborated on the spectrum and skin color theme in 1988 when she was invited to produce a 200-square-meter ceiling painting for the ceremonial hall of Pécs Nuclear Power Plant's College of Energetics. Panneaux un aquat, Body and Refraction, were produced as sketches for murals. Keserü positioned the colors of the rainbow, arranged in regular geometric patterns, alongside human flesh hues in swirling, whirling, curved organic shapes. Keserü explores playful yet profound engagement with everyday objects and forms from 1969 to 1971. During this period, she transformed familiar items from her environment into art, imbuing them with deeper symbolic meanings. In the 1969 work Mimicry, which is permeated with humor, the blued spotted band that runs across the boxed space cleverly incorporates the body of the rag doll that has been attached to the pictorial space. Painted Mirror, dating from 1971, in which the multiple arches of the tombstone motif discovered in 1967 are reproduced in silhouette in front of a reflective background that draws the external world and the viewer into the space of the artwork. Other works, such as the color column and color cylinder, transform mundane objects like carved clothes stand and a paper cylinder into art, with the spectrum of colors spiraling across their surfaces. Ilona Keserü's artistic journey took a transformative turn in the late 1960s when Hungarian theater director Tamás Magyar recognized the potential of her large-scale painting Silvery Picture. This led to her debut as a stage and costume designer for Peter Weiss's The Investigation at the National Theatre in 1967. From 1967 to 1976, Keserü designed over 20 stage sets and costumes, skillfully blending her fine art expertise with the demands of theatrical production. A standout example is her 1970 set for the Song of the Lusitanian Bogie, where painted ropes were used to depict a jungle, a coffee plantation, or an airstrike, mirroring the play's shifting narrative. Keserü's stage designs were far from static. They evolved alongside the performance itself. She collaborated closely with directors and actors, attended rehearsals, and continuously adapted the set as the production progressed. Her designs were never considered complete until the final curtain fell, reflecting her belief that the stage should be a living, breathing space that responds to the performance. The Forest of Images is an immersive experience that transcends traditional exhibition methods. Exploring the flow and interplay of motifs, it merges the genres of painting and installation. The method draws inspiration from the film editing technique known as associative montage, pioneered by Soviet avant-garde filmmakers Sergei Eisenstein and Vsevolod Pudovkin. In this space, which was specially conceived for Museum Susch by the artist and curator, we navigate a forest where images and forms converge to create a larger, ever-evolving whole. Keserü's work invites us to engage with the cyclical nature of artistic creation, where the past continually reshapes the present. For Ilona Keserü, tangles of colored ribbons and labyrinths became a way to explore the harmonies of the color spectrum and visualize complex compositional relationships. In 1978, her work evolved with the introduction of the color Möbius, a two-dimensional surface with one side and one edge. This form allowed for the seamless connection of colors in an infinite progression, achieving a fluency of transition that expanded her artistic language. What makes the Möbius strip unique is its one-sided structure with a single edge. This spatial form enabled Keserü to connect individual shades of color in a way that achieved the desired fluency of progression, even within physical space. This form opened new possibilities for merging color and spatial relationships. It allowed colors to flow continuously in an unending loop, symbolizing the infinite nature of color and space. The first suspended version of Keserü's Möbius strip appeared in a 1988 video recording made in her studio and broadcast on Hungarian television. Since then, this enigmatic shape has recurred throughout her oeuvre, appearing in countless sizes and variations over the decades. Ilona Keserü's creative energy remains as vibrant as ever as she celebrates her 90th year. Her lifelong exploration of color, form, and abstraction continues to push boundaries. Her decades-long project, Detail of a Message, transforms cryptic shapes and vibrant hues into an enigmatic visual language. Inspired by her 1968 work, Message, Keserü's modular compositions realize her vision of creating enormous signs, a series of cryptic characters forming a timeless dialogue between artist and viewer. In recent years, her achievements have been celebrated across Hungary and beyond through retrospectives, conferences, and exhibitions. From Balada Udvari's heart-shaped tombstones to the global art stage, her work continues to resonate deeply. Pieces housed in institutions like the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York and the Centre Pompidou in Paris stand as testaments to her enduring impact. Ilona Keserü's art reminds us that creativity knows no age. Her journey continues to inspire us all.